It's kind of crazy how Need for Speed Unbound is about 4 years old now, when I feel like this game's barely about to turn 3. Need for Speed Unbound came out about 3 years after the release of Need for Speed Heat, which that game came out in November 8th, 2019. I think Need for Speed Heat was, without a doubt, one of the best Need for Speed games we had seen in a long time. Really, my only complaint to this game was that it was too short. Also the collision damage with cops. And it only took about 2 to 3 years later for Need for Speed Unbound to be revealed and then released. And during that reveal, we can see that this game was going to be different. And one of the biggest changes was the change in art direction, at least only for the characters. Graphics still have that realistic look. Criterion decided to give all the characters this cel-shaded look to them. Also, all the cars give off these little effects. Every time you use nitrous or perform a jump, your car will give off these effects. This was likely implemented to give the game more personality and hopefully attract new players. And it also does help that this did give the game its own identity in this regard. It's also safe to assume that EA gave this game some unrealistic sales expectations, which is why Criterion tried to make this game different and approachable to new players. Given we had no word of a new Need for Speed game these past 4 years, well, we could only assume the worst. I mean, I do recall EA coming out and saying that this series isn't dead, at least not yet as of right now, but it seems like the series is on a hiatus. We likely won't see it again until like the PS6. But anyways, Need for Speed Unbound. We're not just going to look back on this game, but I also recently went through the trouble to get all the achievements for this game. And while I'm not going to go over each achievement, this is going to be a video where I'm just going to talk about the experience of getting all the achievements. So without further ado, let's get into it. So one of the weakest parts of this game has to be the story. It does start out promising. You get backstabbed by your closest friend, they steal your car and become the villain. Also throughout the story, this big bad villain who goes by the name Alec is hyped up. A villain who you never get to see, by the way. The man who orchestrated the heist that led to your car getting stolen. All these characters talking about how he's the real deal, and you never see him. Never. All that build up for nothing. Oh, and ASAP Rocky's in this as well. The car he uses is also the game's mascot. One thing I did like is the weekly system. Each day has a daytime and nighttime session, giving you 12 opportunities to earn money until the Saturday qualifier. If by chance you fail to qualify, you'll return to Friday. Keep all your current money, allowing you to earn some extra money to upgrade your car. The city of Lakeshore, which is a fictional representation of Chicago, the map is decent, car customization is great, but the handling is kind of a step backwards. Playing it casually, you may not think about it. In fact, the handling seems easy, but when you start doing the open world activities, specifically having to 3-star all the drift events, or those ASAP Rocky events as well, forgot what they were called, that's when you see how poor the game's handling is. No matter how much you upgrade the handling, there's not much of a difference. Cars have performance ratings from low B100 to high S+, which would be around 330 to 400. Whenever you participate in an event, doesn't matter if it's day or night, you earn cash, and in order to bank all that cash, you have to make it back to your safe house. Sometimes after an event, you'll get right into a pursuit, and if you get busted, all that cash you earned is gone. The cops and heat system for this game is also a bit of a step backwards. I guess one criticism I have is that cops would always just so happen to spawn right where you're supposed to be. Apparently the game is programmed to spawn cops right near your GPS line, which honestly that explains a lot. I also really miss that high risk, high reward that Need for Speed Heat had. I do miss the day and night system that Heat had, where in the day is where you focus on gaining money, while in nighttime you focus on messing with the cops to gain rep that is used to upgrade and customize your car. I get that they wanted to change things up, but I miss Heat's day and night system. Also, there's no reward for having a high heat level with the cops anymore, and to top it all off, the cops in Need for Speed Unbound aren't even that much of a threat compared to Need for Speed Heat. It's unfortunate that Need for Speed Unbound single player is a step backwards compared to Heat, but the game's multiplayer mode, however, was honestly a pleasant surprise. At launch, I didn't really care about it that much, but Criterion gave the multiplayer a ton of support, adding some new modes, motorbikes, quality of life updates. To be honest with you, Playing the multiplayer after the Volume 9 update, again, I am pleasantly surprised that the multiplayer is actually pretty good. Like, dang, this is actually pretty fun. Now, in terms of the game's achievements, they weren't that bad, just a little grindy. Half of these achievements you get by completing the story. I think the most intimidating achievements are all the online achievements, but rest easy. Now that this game has a bit of a dead player base, you can matchmake for each online playlist and play by yourself and get each and every online playlist achievement. And just keep playing the playlist until you completed 30 for another achievement. The only online achievement that requires players is Full House. Just matchmaking quick play. That should be all you need to do. Maybe play at the right time, like during the weekends. Last set of achievements that was left for me was getting all the collectibles and getting 3 stars on all open world activities, such as long jumps, drift zones, speed run, and speed traps. Considering I complained about the game's handling earlier, the drift zone activities were the worst ones to complete. I mean, all you really have to do to complete each of these easily is constantly turn left and right, and you'll eventually get it. But I think drifting in racing games is supposed to be fun. Like, it should feel satisfying. The drifting in this isn't. As for every other activity, the car I use is the Rigera, and that's really all you need to beat all of them. As for finding all the collectibles, it wasn't so bad. When you're near one, a circle appears on your map, encouraging you to look around, or look up a full map guide on the NFS wiki site. It's not hard, just a little grindy. In total, it took me about 35 hours to get all the achievements for this game. The only achievement that really involved having other players is Full House, but once you get that, it's smooth sailing from there. I don't think this game is bad. It's kind of average at best. It has a great multiplayer mode, but with a dead player base, yeah, good luck enjoying that. The mix of cel shade and realistic graphics does give it its own identity. However, with the story that this game has, I don't know, man. This is just one of those games you get on sale for like less than 20. Why did I go through the trouble to get all the achievements? Well, my intention was to 100% only my favorite Need for Speed games. Then I looked back into this game and I figured, yeah, sure, I'll knock this one out. I'm essentially almost done with it. Why not? And also maybe revisit it. See if any thoughts about the game I've had from 4 years ago have changed. And unfortunately they have not. Well, actually no, my thoughts on multiplayer have changed. I am a lot more positive on that side of the game, but again, with the dead player base, yeah, in the end, it's a pretty generic Need for Speed game. That's my overall conclusion of this. But anyways, that's gonna be it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.